Hi, I'm Michael Cardoza. Listen, I've been thinking lately that I would really like to share some of my experiences as a trial attorney. I've been doing trial attorneying for, gosh, well over 40 years. Let me give you a little of my background and then I'm going to tell you what we're going to do on YouTube. I am Michael Cardoza. I am an attorney. I'm a trial attorney. I've been doing it, as I've said, for over 40 years. Started in Los Angeles, even though I'm from San Francisco, born and raised in the city. At the time I graduated law school, my dad was president of the police commission in San Francisco. Mayor Joe Alioto appointed him. And I thought when I graduated, I don't want to go to work in San Francisco with my dad as the commissioner. So I decided I can go to LA, see what it's like down there, become a district attorney down there. I was fortunate enough to get a job down in Los Angeles as a district attorney. I worked there for approximately 15 months. A job opened then in San Francisco, and I thought, all right, I've got enough experience that when I go back, I'm going to know my skills. I'm going to know it's not my dad that's affecting my career and that people are kowtowing to me because who my dad was. So I decided, okay, I'm going back to San Francisco. I worked in the city for over 2 years. I tried an awful lot of misdemeanor cases there. Didn't try any felonies because they had this seniority system in San Francisco that said you can only go up the ladder if someone above you moves away or retires or moves on to a different job. And I thought, wow, I don't want to do that. I don't want to be here and continue trying misdemeanors in San Francisco. So I called a friend of mine over in Alameda County and said, hey, I'm looking for a job. What are things like in Alameda? He invited me over for lunch in Alameda County. Before I went, though, I went to the second in command of San Francisco office. And I told a man by the name of Walt Giabini, who was second in command to the district attorney there, that I was going to be looking for a job. Of course, he tells me, well, you'll never find one because jobs are very difficult to find in prosecution nowadays. So I said, all right, but out of an abundance of courtesy, I want to tell you, I'm going to start looking at other DA's offices because I want to try felony cases. I want to broaden my experience in the courtroom, and quite frankly, I want to get a whole lot better. So he tells me, well, good luck, but it's not going to happen. So I went over to Alameda County, to Oakland, and I met with a good friend of mine by the name of Jimmy Anderson. He and I had gone to high school together. I knew him through college. He had gone on to law school and was a prosecutor in Alameda County. He was a prosecutor that had the leading number of death penalty convictions in the state of California at that time. So he says, let's go to lunch. And I thought, okay, let's go to lunch. Well, we go to lunch and I'd taken the day off and we went to a place called the Fat Lady in Oakland. It's quite a well-known spot for lawyers and law enforcement people. We go in there. We might have had a little too much to drink at that lunch, but it was sure fun. And we talked about the job. He told me he would introduce me to the proper people in Alameda County DA's office. So I said, all right, let's give it a go. He then invited me back to his office. Now, keep in mind, it's about 5 o'clock in the afternoon now, and we've had a couple drinks. And no, we didn't drive back there. We took a cab back over to the district attorney's office and go into his office. We're sitting there. Were we being loud? More than, I'll tell you. I mean, we were being extraordinarily loud. And all of a sudden, the door opens and in walks the second in command, a guy by the name of Dick Hogner, and says, what's going on in here? Why are you guys so loud? And by the way, who are you, pointing at me? And I tell him, I'm in San Francisco. I'm a DA. I'm looking for a new job because I want to try felonies. And he sort of laughs, looks at me and says, okay, when's the last time you get out of trial? And I said, just yesterday. With who? Who was your judge? And I told him, Agnes O'Brien Smith. And he goes, okay, let me talk with her. We'll be getting back to you. And I sort of blew it off and went, yeah, okay. And that evening ended and went home, went to work Monday in San Francisco. And about 11 o'clock that day, I get a call from Dick Hogner, and he goes, Michael, do you want the job? Talked to Lowell Jensen, who was then DA, and he was in trial in Sacramento. He was trying Little and Ramiro. They were the ones that killed the school superintendent Marcus Foster in Oakland. He said, I talked to Lowell. Lowell heard about you because Agnes O'Brien Smith told me about you, and he said to hire you. And I said, whoa, wait a minute. Don't you want me to come over and interview? No, we've heard about you. We've checked with other people. We want you as one of our attorneys. So I said, great, I'll see you in 2 weeks. Gave the DA's office. I laughed because when I walked in and told Chabini that, I thought he was going to fall off his chair. Because remember, I just told him Friday, and that Monday I walk in and go, hey, got a job in Alameda, giving you my 2-week notice. So off I go to Alameda County, and they were kind enough to tell me that we're going to look at you for 6 months. If we think you can try felony cases, we'll jump you over other people and we'll put you right on the felony trial staff. Well, I was fortunate enough and had enough good luck, and I tried a lot of misdemeanors there, that they thought I was good enough, and went to the courthouse, they call it, down near Lake Merritt, started to try felonies, ended up working for Alameda County for about 12 years, and ended up trying some of their top murder cases. And I laugh because I'm sure the people before me named this team, but they had a team called the Super Team. And that Super Team consisted of 5 to 7 trial attorneys. Now keep in mind they had about 120 DAs in the office at the time, but only 7 were on that team, and that was sort of the elite. And fortunately, they put me on that team, so I've got awfully good cases to try, and the very, very heavy felony murder cases, rape cases, robbery cases to try throughout my career there. So I had a great career in Alameda County, and I think it was one of the best DA's offices around. So what I'm going to do with you, I'm going to share my experiences as a district attorney. And of course, after leaving there, I went into criminal defense work with a short hiatus working in a savings and loan to find out what business was about. And then I went to the criminal defense side. I call it the enlightened side. So what this series is going to be about is the stories that I've acquired through the years, some of the pratfalls that I've taken, some of the highlights, some of the lowlights. We're going to be talking about everything. We're going to have an awful lot of fun. Might even share a couple of my recipes with you too. I love to cook. So I've got some killer recipes I've accumulated over the years. But most importantly, we're going to talk about what's going on in our criminal justice system today, how it was in the past, how things have changed, how political it's gotten. Hold on, I forget what we're going to call this thing, but we're going to call it Cardoza's Killer Corner. Cardoza's Killer Corner. No? What are we going to call it?
Cardoza's Killer Commentary.
Cardoza's Killer Commentary, apparently. So, Cardoza's Killer Commentary. I'm going to tell you stories that you will not believe. I will give you the truth. I will give you what it's really like. Just today, they dropped the case against Mr. Smollett's in Chicago. The DA said they're dropping it, sent the mayor up a wall, sent the police up a wall, going, why did this happen? There was enough evidence in their minds to prove that Smollett did it. So why'd they dismiss the case? What's going on back there? We'll talk about things like that. So tune in. I'll do this every day of the week. We have different names for every day of the week. I don't even remember those because my people put those together. Got great people that work here, and they're going to help me put this little series together. But we're going to have fun, and I'm going to tell you some great stories about criminal law. It's going to be like Inside Baseball. This is Inside Criminal Law. So I'll see you next time. Watch for our next episode. Y'all take care now.